Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cabela's, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, Hoyman Tree Saws, Muddy Outdoors, and Realtree.
I'm going to go out today and check the two cameras that I put out earlier in the week and see if I've got any buck pictures on those. And I've got a couple more I'm going to put out today. And at the end of the video blog, I'm going to go ahead and grab my laptop and throw those cards in and see if there's anything interesting. The spot where I'm standing, by the way, is a location where I'd planted soybeans in here during the spring. And with the dry conditions and the deer damage, we really don't have very many beans left in this location. I came in here roughly about 3 weeks ago now with the RTP Genesis drill and no-tilled big and beastie right into this area. We haven't had any rain since then, but we'll get right down and show you. But there's actually some big and beastie coming up. It doesn't look bad, and kind of been the main theme that I've talked about with my food plots here over the last few weeks. We need some rain, and if we get the rain, this will still do fine. But I thought you might get a kick out of seeing how I rescued this food plot that the drought conditions and the deer had hammered pretty hard. I'm on my way over to the camera and I walk past this big white oak tree here. There is a ton of acorns on the ground here. So obviously the white oak are starting to drop. I mean, I see them littered all through here, but I see a ton of the hulls, the tops. And it's all beat up with tracks in here, so I know that the deer are gathering around this tree. Today is the 15th of September, which means it's 2 weeks, 15 or 16 days before the Iowa bow season opens. This would be an obvious spot, something like this, where you've got a pretty heavy trail. If you look back behind me, you can see a pretty heavy trail coming through here from the direction where I've got my camera. If I wasn't, I'll be running, corn on that camera for at least one more card pull, so I'd have to wait quite a while before I could hunt here, but this would be an obvious spot. And no doubt there's lots of other spots on the farm like this too. But I still see a few acorns up in the tree, but there's a lot of them on the ground, and the deer are definitely hitting them. It's time to start looking for those white oaks and find the ones that are dropping acorns. That's going to be your hot spot. Huh. That's a nice looking deer. We've got pictures or video of that deer from the summer. He was in velvet on the 10th. The 10th of September. That buck is still in velvet. That's pretty late. Most bucks will shed their velvet as early as the end of August, the first few days of September. The other buck that I picked up on there, that 10-pointer, looked like an older deer. So I'm going to call him either 3 or 4 years old, this buck, which means in a couple of years he could be a real honker. This is my second card pull of the day. I'm going to put 2 more cameras out today too before I finish up. I'll grab this one and jump back in the truck and look at it on the laptop too. I did pull a card off this one maybe 4 days ago, and there was nothing at all on there. bunch of does and a couple young bucks that didn't really look that good. So hopefully, usually we'll only run three pulls off one spot before I abandon it. So this will be my last card, or my last baiting of this site, and it's kind of getting down to do or die time for this spot. I ran through that whole card and there was not a buck on there that I'd say for sure was more than 3 years old, and even at that, the young ones that were on there didn't even look that good. So a little bit disappointed with this spot. Over the years it's been a really strong producer of pretty quality bucks, but I'm thinking that I'm going to have to forget it for a little bit here and look on other parts of the farm and see what I can find. Maybe come back here in October at some point and check it again, but this spot is not showing promise for this year. Well, that concludes my video blog for today. I pulled 2 cards and I'm going to put 2 more out. So the next time I come back to this, there'll be at least 4 and maybe more than that out on the farm. From the first card pull up by the cabin, there was 2 pretty solid bucks there that we need to look at a little bit closer, but I think they were too young. I'm pretty sure they were 3 or 4 years old. Try to get them to 5 years old on this farm. We've got some bucks here that are 5, so there's no reason not to really focus in on those deer. I just need to get cameras in the areas where those deer live and try to find them. So that's next on the list.